nation, Hebrew kingdom building.
돌아야 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 him the thanks, give him praise. Toda Yahweh, Toda Yah, Toda Yah, Toda Yah, Toda Yah, Toda Yah. Quieter. Yeah, we in that car.
All right, so last Shabaka we finished so late. I didn't really get into everything I was going to get into, and what happened was then we went to Anderson happened to be live that night, and so last week, Anderson was live, and so then I went home and listened to the teaching that Malek Yehusha did, and he covered several of the scriptures I was supposed to cover. I didn't cover last night. Like, dang, okay. All right, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Most High, can I please finish what we started last week? He was like, hallelujah. So we're gonna do a recap and just kind of finish what we was. I mean, some other stuff I added in there too. At the Most High kind of show on some. Well, he did show. There's some things he actually showed me during Rosh Kodesh. I'm gonna jump into a little bit, but then we'll go from there. So anyway, I mean, you asked. I mean, I want to go. Cause that'd be rude to turn it down, right? That'd be rude. Yeah, it's so close. I'll tell you something, Grandma and them. Now, my people, man, they from Houston, man. They'll think that's rude. You go up in their house, don't eat nothing. Talk about you all right. Boy, they're gonna talk about you when you leave. Don't go, listen here. I think most of us from the South, most of us from Texas. Don't go up in nobody's house, don't speak. And don't go up in nobody's house when they done cooked and you ain't eat nothing. Don't do that. Look here. You're gonna get talked about now. I know, because I would be the one because I'm an introvert, so I'll go up in somebody's house and forget to speak. I'll be the one to do that and get talked about. Is John here? And it'd be like, that would be me right there. I had to learn, man. I learned the hard way. All right, so we talked about this a couple of times. So Shamayim It's about everything being named based on its kind. Because remember, it's basically the Sheen and then Ma'in. Because Ma'in means kind. But remember, Shamayim means heaven. And so it's basically, the Sheen means to separate, distinguish, etc. So it's about things being separated based on its kind. That's what Yahuwah did when he... So what we were talking about is when Yahuwah, the creation week was basically a declaration of war. The creation week was not a passive thing. Creation week wasn't, I submit, the Most High said, I got an idea, let me create some stuff. And he created some stuff. And he created you. Like he just had a bright idea, let me create man. Yeah, let's do that. Let me create trees. I think it's a lot deeper than that. There was chaos going on the earth. Something happened to where there was the earth was without form and void. It was tohu vabohu. It was without form and void. So this is one of the scriptures I was gonna cover last week, but I didn't because of time. But Malek Yehusha brought it up. So it's in Jeremiah. I believe it's 4. Oh yeah, you don't even gotta ask that. Oh yeah, that's every week. Nah. Let's see. That's right. Oh yeah, I put that there. That's my fault actually. I'll praise to the Most High. Did you see it? Did you see that picture? Oh wow, interesting. All right, it's Jeremiah. 4. I was right. Jeremiah 4:23. You know what's crazy, y'all? Anderson, they went way over too. They was they was going into about after 10 just like us. That was interesting. Yeah. So he was doing the same thing. He was rushing through too. He saw people get tired. He was like, all right, y'all, we're gonna keep this short, y'all. We're going. All right, let's get it. Jeremiah 4:23.
Jeremiah chapter 4, verse 23. I beheld the earth, and indeed it was without form and void.
That's the only other verse in all the scriptures where tohu vabohu is mentioned. Now, they have tohu mentioned in some verses, and they have bohu by itself, but as far as tohu vabohu together, without form and void, it's the only other scripture other than in Genesis 1. It says, I beheld, and indeed it was without form and void. And keep going.
And the Shamayim, they had no light.
Y'all see this? Now, remember in Genesis 1, when the earth was without form and void, what did Yahuwah do? Yeah. Y'all following this? So Yirmiyahu, he's seen something. He said, I beheld the earth, and indeed it was with tohu vabohu. And the heavens, they had no light. Keep going.
Verse 24. I beheld the mountains, and indeed they trembled. All the hills moved back and forth. I beheld, and indeed there was no man. And all the birds of the Shamayim had fled. I beheld, and indeed the fruitful land was a wilderness, and all its cities were broken down at the presence of Yahuwah, by his fierce anger.
By his what?
Fierce anger.
So that's interesting. Very interesting. So going back to Genesis 1, when Yahuwah said, let there be light, it wasn't no like passive thing. When the light shines, the darkness flees. That was a declaration of war. Let there be light. It says that the Ruach of Elua hovered over the face of the deep. That was basically like having the spies to go out to search out the land. Tour. Man, y'all on it, man. That was a few weeks ago. All praise to the Most High. What Israel would do before they go and take the land, they would send out spies first. So the Ruach was hovering over the face of the deep. Yeah. And then the Most High said, let there be light. All right. All right, so then we talked about the number 8, which is Shemini. That's about pulling the seed out of the waters by the power of Yahuwah, or pulling the seed out of the waters by cutting, or pulling the seed out of Babylon by sacrificing. Pulling the seed out of Babylon by sacrificing. You know, you have two arms. It's like pulling the seed out of what? The nations, or Babylon, which is the head of the nations. Pulling the seed out of Babylon by sacrificing, you know, cutting. You're probably not going to be able to get out of Babylon without sacrificing. You're going to have to make a sacrifice. The number 8, you know that it means eternity. Covenant, things like that. It's about the new beginning. The number 8 also means new beginning. It's interesting that there's been a lot of new beginnings that's been happening since the revelation of the number 8 came out, huh? We had some people cut their hair, huh? New beginnings, huh? Very interesting. Very interesting. Do you mind sharing about how many locks it was for y'all?
Oh, yeah.
Nope. Nope, I got a mic. Nope, you good. You through.
I be hearing myself. I feel like that's why. You just want the number, or you want me to share what I put?
Just a number.
So yeah, Hadassah had 83 locks.
And go ahead. I will get
Okay, so yeah, Hadassah had 83 locks of hair. And then Kamashim, Mushal was bringing out his chaos standing outside of the gates by pressing the powers in the seas. That was the definition for Kamashim he gave last week. And then Yahuwah gave Hadassah this, that Aharon was exactly 83 years old when he approached Pharaoh. So, yeah, it's kind of like she had 83 locks of hair on her head that we cut.
Ain't that wild? Y'all see that? New beginnings. The number 8, new beginnings. And then you got the number 3, it's resurrection. You see what I'm saying? And then the breakdown that he had was lined up with Hamashim, which literally is about, it's associated with resurrection and new beginnings. Because we're talking about the number 50, right? Yeah, Hamashim, 50th, the number 50. Jubilee, right? It's a new beginning, Jubilee. And we know that's resurrection because he regathered in the Jubilee, the regathering. Y'all following me? So how old was Moshe when he started his ministry? 80. Y'all see those number 8s right there? Aaron was 83, and Moshe was 80, or you can say 8, because that's 80. Sign that the kingdom of heaven was at hand. It was time for them to go before Pharaoh and say, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Submit to the Most High, or You're going to get judged, basically. All right. So here's Kamashim. The number 50. We see the word yam in there. That's the word for seas. And the word chamesh, that's the word for 5 or 15, remember? So you got 5 seas as a compound word in Kamashim. But the letter by letter breakdown of Kamashim, it's about chaos staying outside the gates. The chaos is what? Water, ain't it? That's the mem. The mem can mean chaos or what? Water, right? It's about chaos staying outside the gates by cutting or pressing the power in the seas. That makes sense? That's what he was just bringing up with the 83 as well. And it's interesting that 8 minus 3 is 5, but anyway, that's just interesting though. That's all I'm saying. All right. So we got Kamesh. Now, Kamesh can mean the number 5 or 15. Don't worry about that. I should have. Anyway, it don't matter. 5 or 15. Kamesh, you also have Shem and Ham there. You have Shem and you have Ham. Those are the sons of Noah. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of that's what we were talking about a while. That's a veiled thing. That's a very veiled mystery there. That's showing something hidden in the Hebrew that Shem and Ham are part of Kamashim or the Shamayim. Because Kamashim is about the Shamayim. That's why the words are so similar. Remember we talked about how Shamayim is literally in here? If you take out the het, that's Shamayim. Sheen, Mem, Yod, Mem. So the word Shamayim is in Hamashim, and the reason why is because Hamashim is about the Shamayim. And the number 50 is about the kingdom of heaven. That's why you got to count 50 days in order to keep Shavuot. You notice Shavuot ain't on a specific day. The Most High doesn't say on the 5th day of the 7th month you're to keep Shavuot. He don't say that, do he? He say you got to count 50 days. You keep Pesach, and then what you do is at the first fruit you count 50 days. Right. It's called the count of the Omer. You got to count to it. There's no specific date for Shavuot. You got to count Hamashim, because Shavuot is about what? The kingdom of heaven. That's why I was on Shavuot when the Ruach fell on the assembly. That's why I was on Shavuot when the amber came and happened, where they were speaking in tongues, and the Ruach fell in Acts chapter 2. That's why I was on Shavuot when the Torah was given, when the instructions were given, right? It was on Shavuot. Traditionally speaking, it was on Shavuot. All right. So this is showing that Japheth was left out of this. Japheth did something to where they did not make it into the kingdom of heaven. The kingdom of heaven will consist of Shem and Ham, y'all. That's what this is showing. So, Maleki Husha was talking about some of the stuff that Japheth is, which is Japheth. So you won't see them in the scriptures like that. You're Gog and Magog. That's Japheth. That's pretty much the only time you really see them in the scriptures like that, other than like the Table of Nations in Genesis 10, and I think they're mentioned a couple of times in like Book of Yirmiyahu. I remember with he mentioned like Ashkenaz, some prophecy against them, like a real obscure prophecy. Trying to think any other time I can think of Japheth being mentioned in the scriptures, other than then you can argue in the Brit Hadashah with Rome, but not really, because a lot of the Romans were descendants of Esau. So that's kind of It's just not clear. But it's clear. Gog and Magog, that's Japheth. That's clear. Ashkenaz, different groups like that. Tubal, stuff like that. That's Japheth. All right. Japheth is just like not a factor in the scriptures like that. And I think it has something to do with them just not going, that something happened with that seed. So where they not a part of Hamashim. That's Shem and Ham. Let's keep going. So we talked about that. Yeah, we went through that already. And then we talked about how, you see it in Bereshit 5, it says, and Noah was 500 years old, and Noah begot Shem, Ham, and Japheth. So even here, if you look in the Hebrew, it says that Noah was Hamesh. Basically, and Noah was Ham Shem, 100 years old, and Noah begot Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Y'all get what I'm saying? Okay. And so Hamashim is about the 5 C's, right? You got the number 5 and then C's. So the 5 C's are the 5 kingdoms, and basically the 5 kingdoms that Daniel prophesied about, who basically were going to be the main rulers in the world. So you got Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, Rome, and then the modern nations of Europe and Papal Rome. That's us. That's America and the Western nations. Those are the powers over the world right now. That's the time that we're in, is at the end. Because remember, we read in Daniel, after this, ain't nothing else but the kingdom of heaven, right? Kingdom of Yahushua. That's how you know we don't have to have guesswork. And we don't got to guess whether we're not in the end, or whether we're not in the end times or not. The prophecy showing us during the times of Daniel, he prophesied about this. Daniel was living during the times of that. He was actually dealing with Nebuchadnezzar. He was way up here. So Daniel, he knew that it wasn't the end days for him. But y'all read the Brit Hadashah, and you notice how they start talking about this is the last days? Oh, how did they know that? Well, because they knew they were here. Because the Brit Hadashah, they was under Roman rule. So they knew they were close to the end. And the Most High had Yahushua come in during this time. He went on to enter this creation during this time. For a reason. All right. So another thing that we talked about was, let's go to Bereshit 1. And let me know when y'all there. All right. All right, let's get it.
Verse 1.
Yes, sir.
Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning, Elohim created the Shamayim and the Arets. The Arets was without form and void, and darkness was on the face of the deep.
Oh, so was the Shamayim without form and void? What nothing wrong with the Shamayim, was it? It was the Arets, wasn't it? All right, let's keep going.
And the Ruach of Elohim was hovering over the face of the waters.
Start over with verse 2.
The Arets was without form and void, and darkness was on the face of the deep. And the Ruach of Elohim was hovering over the face of the waters.
So at this point in time, the earth was overtaken, Haaretz was overtaken by the waters.
That's right.
But Malek Yahushua was talking about this, how this is showing that there was a flood before the flood.
Right.
This happened again when Yahuwah had put a flood on the earth in Bereshit 6, where again the waters overtaken the Arets. But at this point in time, the waters was overtaking the Arets. There was no Arets that was available. It was all water. Keep going.
Verse 3. Then Eluah said, "Let there be light." And there was light.
Boom. So it's interesting that people talk about the Big Bang. Big Bang Theory. There might be some validity to it, man. I don't know. I ain't studied enough to even, go there. But when Yahuwah said, "Let there be light," what I'm saying is that it was aggressive, though. It wasn't no, and light started shining. Nah, I submit it was aggressive. It was like a declaration of war. Something happened to the earth and the Most High came through and intervened. Something happened to where the earth was out of order. It was out of order. It was in chaos. And Yahuwah came and brought order to the earth. When Yahuwah came to bring order to the earth, it wasn't no friendly thing.
Right.
No, he came in to take over. He came in, He said, "Let there be light." I'm not through with the darkness. Let there be light. And they made the darkness flee. Then he came through, and let's keep reading. I'm going to go ahead of myself.
Verse 4. And Eluah saw the light, that it was through. And Eluah divided the light from the darkness.
He came in there cutting and dividing. He came in there dividing things. He divided the light from the darkness. He's like, "Yeah, I'm going to make a distinction." Boom. This is aggressive. Keep going. This is like separating the wheat from the tares. This is Yahushua came in the same way. He came in divided. He said, "I came in to separate a mother from his father." The people in your house will be your own enemies. Right. Because he was a light. He came in. That's what John 1:1 said. He came in as a light in a dark place. And so you have people, man, who will be separated out of houses because they're full of light, but the rest of their house might be dark. So now you got families separating. That's why Yahushua said, "I didn't come to bring peace." Ain't that crazy? Because you got even Hebrews. Why don't we all just be peaceful? Why don't we all? Because that's not love. We need to all unify. Yahushua came. He said, "I didn't come to bring peace." Don't even think I came for that. I came not to bring peace, but to bring what? A sword, y'all. He literally said that's what he came for. For real. So as soon as he came, all kind of conflict, separation, divisions. Like, real talk, y'all, we ain't worried about everybody else like that. We can't worry about that. You would go crazy worrying about that. Well, these people, they believe that. Well, these people, they do that over there. With this group, they do that. With this group, man, they believe this, but they don't believe that. But this group, I was talking to my son about, I talked to Yeshayahu about the other day. It's like, nah, we don't concern ourselves with nothing like that, man. We're not really trying to unify all of Israel. We're not trying to do none of that. For real, Yahushua didn't come to do that. Y'all know how many groups, we don't think about it. Y'all know how many different groups and sects that were out there when Yahushua came on the earth? You had the Pharisees, the Sadducees, the Zealots, the Sicarii. What else? You had the Essenes, the Gnostics. You had all these groups. They were Israelites. These were Israelite groups right there in Jerusalem, right there in Israel, and they all believed something different. Did y'all ever see Yahushua trying to unify all of Israel? No. He was worried about he was focused on what Yahuwah had him to do, and whoever that was given to him was given to him. Right. And he was only worried about them, the people that were given to him. And that's basically what we do. That's basically you just can't worry about that. All of Israel's not going to unify. Even when we were in the wilderness, all of Israel didn't unify. Thousands of people had to get cut off. Thousands. I mean, thousands. I can't remember how many. But it was tens of thousands. A lot. All you gotta do is all you do is focus on Yahuwah and the function that he has for us to do. It's about pleasing Yahuwah, not man. It's about focusing on Yahusha. All right. So, I submit that because that's what Yahusha came to do, that's what his body does as well. Cutting and divided.
From a house, one left, the other taken. For real. All right, let's keep going. Keep going.
Verse 5. Alua called the light day, and the darkness he called night.
So this is interesting. Now I want y'all to think about this. So everything was covered in water, and the Most High, he came to subdue the waters. He said, let there be light. Or the word for seas is yom, and then he called the light yom. I think that's interesting to me, because that's Yod Mem about having power over the waters. Having power over the waters. Or it's about the power coming out of the waters, yom, or seas. But it's interesting that he called the light yom. Very interesting. And then we had some, I think that was, you had the vision about light coming out of the water. Did somebody else have a vision about what they saw light coming out of the water? I thought it was somebody else too. That was you? Huh? Out of the ground? Okay. So maybe that's what I had it mixed up with. Did anybody else had a vision about light inside of the waters or coming out of the waters? No? I thought that was somebody else. Okay. But nevertheless, the light was called Yom, which is very similar to the word for the seas, the oceans, Yam. What is that showing? I'm gonna let y'all answer this because y'all know. What is that showing?
I had a thought on that.
Go ahead.
My thought was, and I can't remember which verse, but I believe it's in Isaiah. Maybe it's Isaiah 60, where it says like the Gentiles will bring you their wealth. So it's like the strength. That's when the world is gonna see who the light really is once the nations bring them their strength. If you get what I'm saying.
No, that makes sense. All I was looking for was that Yom and Yam, the seas and the light is related to each other. That's what I was looking for. Because they two words that are very close to each other. That's all. You see what I'm saying? But what he brought out is deep for real though. Actually, it makes sense too. Because that's what he's saying is that the seas, the nation, and the light are related to each other. Something that's correlated with each other there that we need to look more into. All right, let's keep going.
Verse 5. Alua called the light day, and the darkness he called night. So the evening and the boker were the first day. Then Alua said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters.
See what I'm saying? You see how aggressive this is? The waters was on the face of the deep. He's going in on the waters. You see what I'm saying? Right. He said, let there be light. Then he divided the light from day. Now he's like, okay, I'm going to put a firmament in the midst of the waters. He's going and divide the waters from the waters. He's going in on the waters. Verse 7.
Verse 7. Thus Eluah made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And Eluah called the firmament Shamayim. So the evening and the boker were the second day.
Because see, the firmament was about, remember Shamayim pulling out of the Mayim, dividing the Mayim, cutting the Mayim. So it's about Shamayim, dividing the waters. That's what he named the firmament. That's what he named heaven. Shamayim, cutting the waters, splitting the waters, pulling out of the waters, dividing. I didn't come to bring peace, but to bring a sword. I came to divide. So Yahuwah came, ever since creation, that's what Yahuwah came to do. He came to divide. He came to cut, to distinguish, to separate. Let's keep going, verse 9.
Verse 9. Then Eluah said, let the waters under the Shamayim be gathered together into one place, and let dry land appear. And it was so.
All right, now this is interesting. So he said, let the waters under the heavens. This is not Shamayim. This is the water under the heavens, under the Shamayim. Because the Shamayim is over the waters. It's over. But under the Shamayim, let's go in and gather those waters together. What did Yahushua say? Didn't he say, I'm going to gather the wheat and the tares? He said, I'm going to come, I'm going to gather, I'm going to separate the sheep from the goats. Yahushua was coming and he was separating and gathering and separating and distinguishing. Did he say the wheat and the tares get burnt up in the fire or something? That's why why do you think he's distinguishing and making these separations? Y'all listen, you think he's regathering us just cause? He's he's distinguishing things and gathering and separating things so that when the judgment rolls out, the people who we don't want judgment to roll out on, they won't be failed, preserve them. But how that's going to work if you mixed in with everybody else? That's why he talks about gathering the wheat and the tares together. He wait till they grow up. He don't deal with them at first. He wait till they grow up and come to the full. Wait till they're a beeb. Wait till they're ripe. Then you can tell the difference. You can't tell the difference between the wheat and the tares when they're young. They all look similar. But once they grow up and they get mature, you start to tell the difference, boy. I'd be like that, man. Look here, when I had children, I had babies, boy. When they babies, it's hard to tell, huh? The difference between, boy, you look just like your sister, boy. You look just like your brother did when he was a baby. Look just alike. Then once they start getting older, then you can tell. They a baby, you be like, man, you look like, okay, you look like your daddy. Oh, yeah. Then after day 3, you be like, oh, well, you look kind of like your mama, though. Oh, no. Then day 7, oh, you look like your daddy. You can't tell. It's hard to tell when they that young. But once they get older, then you start being able to really see, you know, how they gonna come out. The wheat and the tares are very easy to distinguish once they are ripe. So the wheat, actually, once it's ripe, it bows down. When it's abib, they humble. You can tell the wheat because the wheat are repentant, huh? They humble. They bow down, they gonna submit. That's how you can tell. The tares upright. Stiff neck. Oh man. Oh snap. Easy to tell. They stand out. Cause while the wheat is bowing down, man, the tares is just standing up, standing out. You can roll through with the sickle and won't touch the wheat because it's bowing down. You can just gather the wheat and the tares get burnt. So that's why embrace the division. Embrace that Yahuwah set you apart. That's why it's always talking about set apart, set apart, set apart, set apart. Holy, holy, be holy, be holy, be set apart. Come out of her, come out of Babylon. Didn't Revelation say come out of Babylon lest you partake in her judgments? That's what the separation is about. That's why you got to, when Yahuwah says separate, or when he separates you from a situation, actually praise Yahuwah for that. That's for your thub. So he went down, Yahuwah went in and separated the waters below and gathered them together into one place. And he let the what appear? He let the dry land appear. And it was so. Verse 10.
Verse 10, and Eluah called the dry land Aretz, and the gathering together of the waters he called seas. And Eluah saw that it was through.
So you notice the seas is only referring to the waters below. That's the nations. The seas is referring to the waters below. The Shamaim, we are not a part of the marine kingdom. We're not a part of the seas. The seas is referring to the waters under the heavens. Yep. So, okay. Now, remember we talked about being at sea level. Being at sea level. There's something about being at sea level. Does anyone remember what's the lowest point on earth as far as below sea level? Go ahead, Elijah. No, stay there. Stay right by him. Go ahead and say it.
The Red Sea?
Close. Nope. Say it. Go ahead and say it on the mic.
The Dead Sea.
It's the Dead Sea. The Dead Sea. The Dead Sea is in Israel, y'all. It's the lowest point on earth, literally. It's 800 feet below, roughly 800 feet below sea level. There's no other place lower than that on the planet. No other place. Sodom and Gomorrah was right on the Dead Sea. It was right on the Dead Sea. Look it up. I don't think there is no cities on the Dead Sea anymore. There might be some like small settlements or something, but Sodom and Gomorrah were major cities that were on the Dead Sea, and Yahuwah destroyed them with fire and brimstone. Dead Sea is known for its what? For its salt. Remember when what's her name? She turned into a pillar of salt, Lot's wife. Now y'all see how that works? They were on the Dead Sea. They were right there. That's where the Sodom and Gomorrah was at. Because there's something about being below sea level. It's like you're under being below the seas, it's like you're under the dominion of the marine kingdom. You're under the dominion of the marine kingdom. So we talked about, oh, snap.
Real talk.
Said the Dead Sea, radioactive. Yeah, that's crazy. Well, from the that's probably radiation, huh? When Sodom and Gomorrah hit, maybe, or some radiation.
My bad. I should have waited, y'all. I was just like, hey, Mushal, hey, this is too. But so I was saying that the Dead Sea is radioactive. Really, it's because of Sodom and Gomorrah. So Melech Yahusha was touching on this. He touched on the radioactive things in the. He was talking about the movie Oppenheimer, but how they had that before Oppenheimer had that. But what science will tell you is that the Dead Sea, because of its relatively low position, it's what did you just call it? The lowest point. Like I forgot. There's a sea level. Because of its sea level, there's a low. They say it's a low level of radioactive, but it's the only sea in the world that's like that, and it's radioactive to this day. That's why. So I only said that because you was like, man, there's probably nobody living there. Nah, you can't stay there for like. You can go visit and swim in the water, sure, but nah, you can't live there. It's not gonna grow nothing. You can't grow nothing there.
Man, I ain't getting that water, man. They crazy. But can't nothing live in there. Ain't no fish in there. That's why they call it the Dead Sea. Yeah, ain't nothing in there. Lowest point on the earth. And so, but it's interesting that the lowest point on the earth is literally in our land. Literally. So, there's something about that, because Sodom and Gomorrah was probably looked at as one of the most wicked areas ever. And it was right on the lowest point of the earth. So now we got, what city is this?
Nolans.
Nowlands is the only major city in the United States that is below sea level. Below sea level, not at sea level, below. It's a few feet below sea level. No other major city in the United States that's below sea level. Somebody did mention Death Valley though, which is the lowest point in America. There's no major cities around there, but it's interesting that how it's associated with the Dead Sea. They both have death in the name. I think that's very interesting. Because Death Valley don't got nothing either. It's like a dead area. It's just dry. That's probably why ain't no city or nothing around there. No major city, other than probably some, small towns or something. But New Orleans is a major city, and it's under the sea level, below sea level. Did I tell y'all about the Airbnb we was in? Paysock, did I mention that last week? Okay. Yeah, so it's just dangerous being over there. I just, every time I go there, number one, it's just so much water out there. As soon as you go, to get into New Orleans, you got to cross over all these bridges and stuff. But then on top of that, New Orleans is like a Sodom and Gomorrah as far as just the way it is. Just a lot of abominable stuff, a lot of wickedness. It's just a city that's given over to the marine kingdom. Even though we know all of Babylon is, it's just New Orleans is on another level with it. Another level with it. But it's not just New Orleans though. You go to most of the coastal areas are like that, are similar at least. My family's from South. My dad's is from side of the family's from South Florida. They're right at sea level, and it's off the chain like that down there. I know we got like the island, like Uriel, Bethel, people from the islands. That's a whole. There's a whole nother level of ruachs you're dealing with on those places that are surrounded by the seas. That's what an island is. An island is a place that's surrounded by the seas. So that's why if you deal with, you're dealing with somebody from the islands, they probably have more encounters with stuff surrounding the marine kingdom than somebody who's from like Austin. You know what I'm saying? Just a different level of ruachs over there because you're surrounded by the seas. The marine kingdoms all encompassed and engrafted in the culture and in the people there. So that's something to think about. Sea level. Sea level. That's why it's interesting that when we're talking about dealing with Yahuwah is, did they ever put an altar in a low point on the earth? They always called it a high place, didn't they? Let me worship you on your holy hill. I'm going to praise you on the Kodesh mountain. The mountain of Alua, mountain. It's always about being above sea level. You see what I'm saying? Elevation, elevated above the waters. And then that's where you would build an altar to Alua at and different things like that. That's the opposite is when you're going below sea level. That's like symbolic of Sheol or something like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Is there anybody that don't know what I'm referring to about the Airbnb in New Orleans? Raise your hand. You don't either? I talked about it on Shabbat, huh? Was it Rosh Kodesh? I can say it in like 1 minute. I can say it in like 1 minute. So basically, the Pesach 2019, one of the Mitch Parker had a Airbnb in because Pesach was in New Orleans. Rebirth Pesach. It was La Place. That's New Orleans, it's right across the bridge from New Orleans. So we went into so we had some Mitch Parker got Airbnbs in the city of New Orleans, and so they had a big Airbnb. It was nice, and we went down there. And so the Airbnb was on the street. This is the street. This is the Airbnb, the street right here. And then there's a levee that goes up about this high. So you got the house right here, the Airbnb, and then you got the levee right here. Yeah. Yeah. So you depending on human technology, basically for your life. Cause all that thing got to do is break, like what happened in Katrina, and everything over there gonna be underwater. She said she blew up the levee, so that's even worse. All they got to do is feel like one day they want to blow up the levee. I mean, for real. Yeah, that's even worse. You putting yourself in a situation where, especially you talking all black areas, they'll blow up the levee. Like, for real. Cause that whole area was all black that we was in, that Airbnb was in. They don't be caring about that. So to me, that's just crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? That's just too much water. That's dangerous. And it makes sense. See, I didn't, Katrina to me, that was just watching it on the news. But then when you go down there, you can see how devastating that can be if something like that happens. Like, man. Yeah. Because you talk about a city that's literally under sea level, below sea level. So, oh, okay. Oh, no worries. Okay. Nope. That was it. That was it. That was it. So, all right. So, all right. Let's get back to focus. So, I want to talk about the Seashore. I want to talk about the Seashore. So that's somewhere in Portugal. So in Bereshit 22, it says, "Then the Malach of Yahuwah called to Abraham a second time out of the Shamaim, and said, By myself I have sworn, says Yahuwah, because you have done this thing and have not withheld your son, your only son. Blessing I will bless you, and multiplying I will multiply your descendants as the stars of the Shamaim and as the sand. But not any sand, it's the sand which is on the seashore. And your descendants shall possess the gate of their enemies." Because that's what we was designed to do anyway. And since creation, day 3, Yahuwah split up the waters and allowed dry land to appear. He split up the waters under the heavens and allowed arets to appear. And he said he called the dry land arets. And when you look at the Hebrew breakdown for arets, that's a stronghold for Yahuwah and his people, for Yahuwah and his heads. Then he took that same arets, and you know what that arets was? Remember, he had to separate the waters for arets to appear, so that means the land probably looked more like that. Yeah. He separated the waters for arets to appear, so it probably looked something like that. This was fresh arets coming from out the oceans. You see what I'm saying? Then he created Adam, and he made him out of the arets. He made them from the ground, from the eretz, from the Adama, from the soil. We know it probably looked like that because the scriptures talk about Eden and how Eden was. Eden was flowing with waters, bodies of water, wasn't it? They even named the different bodies of water and rivers. It said the Pishon, the Gihon. Man, New Orleans only got one river going through there. And they got water all over the place. Eden had four. The Pishon, the Hiddekel. I don't remember it, all of them. The Gihon. It was one other one. The Gihon, the Pishon, the Hiddekel. Euphrates. I told that Eva.
Euphrates was one of them.
So it probably looked like this. So no wonder Yahuwah told Abram that your descendants, they would be as the sand which is on the seashore. He didn't just say that your descendants would be just as the dirt. Specifically the sand that is on the seashore. Your descendants will be like the sand. So what is the seashore? Man, y'all who said that? That's Isha. I gotta tell Isha to be quiet. She be on the same vein. I ain't talked to her about this. But the sand on the seashore basically sets the boundaries for the seas.
That's the gate.
Lift up your heads, O ye. It's the boundary that keeps the nations from trying to overtake the land again. Like y'all see what I'm saying? Like, this stuff is crazy. Like, wow. That's why we are the sands of the seashore. Right. The boundaries. We the gates, the people of Yahuwah, the people of Alua. We came to subdue, to be fruitful and to multiply and subdue Haaretz. But we different. We the people, this is the kingdom of heaven. We came to even have dominion over the waters. Dominion over the waters. That's why in the Brit Hadashah it was different, fam, when you're talking about the kingdom of heaven. Yahusha came talking about the kingdom of heaven. That's why he was walking on water. He was showing all these signs about having dominion over the waters, walking on water. He was trying to show Keith and them, man, look, y'all can have. They was in a boat, and then the storm came, and they was worried, and Yahusha was like, "Dude." And they were scared, master. Like, man, he turned over. They're like, master, man, we about to all die, master. And then he get up, like, man, y'all don't got no faith, man. What's wrong with y'all? And he rebuked the weather, and it was through. He was showing in all these different signs dominion over the waters, though. Yahusha wasn't worried. He had fell asleep. And y'all remember the apostles, they were skilled with the waters. So for them to be scared in that storm said a lot. It had to have been a bad storm because they were fishermen they were professional fishermen. They were skilled on these waters. These were waters that they grew up around. This ain't like, you know what I'm saying, they're not scary people like that. And so it was probably a supernatural storm actually, because that's why it said that Yahusha rebuked the storm. Oh, rebuked the sea, that's what it says, huh? Oh, snap, we probably need to go there real quick, man. What is it? Yeah, let's go there real quick, man. That's wild. I forgot about that. All right, let's do it, man. Mark 4 and verse 39. Let's get it.
Mark chapter 4.
Oh, no, start at verse 35 through 39.
Mark chapter 4, verse 35. On the same day, when evening had come, he said to them, "Let us cross over to the other side." Now when they had left the multitude, they took him along in the boat as he was, and other little boats were also with him. And a great windstorm arose, and the waves beat into the boat, so that it was already filling. But he was in the stern, asleep on a pillow.
Man, I'm telling you, man, he was he was in Shalom.
And they awoke him and said to him, "Teacher, do you not care that we are perishing?" Then he arose and rebuked the wind and said to the sea, "Shalom, be still."
Man, and what happened?
And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm.
Dominion over the seas. Dominion over the seas. And look what he said, verse 40.
Verse 40, but he said to them, "Why are you so fearful? How is it that you have no faith?" And they feared exceedingly and said to one another, "Who can this be, that even the wind and the sea obey him?"
And the what?
And the sea obey him.
Dominion over the seas, y'all. Man, through call out, Moray. I'm glad we brought that out. Dominion over the seas. It's a new thing going on, man. It's the kingdom of heaven. Shamayim, that's basically what it means. Dominion over the seas. It's the kingdom of heaven. Kingdom of the Shamayim. Why do you think right after Yahuwah said this, he said, "I'm going to make your descendants as the sand which is on the seashore"? Why do you think he said this right after? "And your descendants shall possess the gate of their enemies." Again, this is not passive language. This is not like, oh, you're going to have all these children and they're going to be in shalom and it's going to be great. No, you're going to have these descendants and they are going to conquer. They're going to have dominion. They're going to possess the gates of their enemies. A matter of fact, let's look at the word here for sand that's used. Now, this word sand is primarily used in reference to sand on the seashore. This is not, I noticed like a lot of verses where this is used. It's not really like just any dirt. Chol is in reference many times to sand on the seashore. So the breakdown for Chol is it is a boundary that's secured by Yahuwah, or a boundary secured by the shepherd, Yahuwah Rohi. It's a boundary secured by Yahuwah. Us being as the sands of the seas is highlighting dominion over Haaretz. That we are the gates. We are the boundaries. That we are the gates. That we are the boundaries. Lift up your heads, O ye. Outside the gates is what? Wickedness. Remember that? You read that in Revelation. Outside the gates is the seas, the other nations, their ways, wickedness, the other allures, all those things. Yirmiyahu chapter 5. Do you not fear me, says Yahuwah? Will you not tremble at my presence, who have placed the sand as what? The bound of the sea? By a perpetual decree that it cannot pass beyond it? Let me read it again. Do you not fear me, says Yahuwah? Will you not tremble at my presence, who have placed the sand, Chol, as the bound of the sea? By a perpetual decree that it cannot pass beyond it? Do y'all know how vast the oceans are? If Yahuwah didn't set a boundary, the oceans can easily overtake the land. It's way more water than land, way more. But the sand of the seashore is designed to set the bounds of the sea. to be a boundary, to give it a limitation. You can stay here, but you can't go far past this point. Look, and though its waves toss to and fro, yet they cannot prevail. Though they roar, yet they cannot what? They can't pass over their boundaries.
Oh, snap.
Might be something to that. Because Yahushua drew a line in the sand too.
That's right.
He drew, and he said, anybody?
That's war language.
Dawid did that too, didn't he? That's real. The sand on the seashore is literally the sand that is revealed from dry ground. This was literally from Yahuwah setting the boundaries. This was literally from Yahuwah splitting the seas and causing dry ground to appear. And then he set boundaries for him. Yirmiyahu 33. And the word of Yahuwah came to Yirmiyahu, saying, thus says Yahuwah, if you can break my covenant with the day and my covenant with the night, doesn't that go back to Genesis 1? Now this is showing that this was a covenant made. He said, let there be night, and he divided the day from the night. We know that because he divided, he cut. That's sacrifice. And we know that sacrifice is almost always associated with covenant. If you can break my covenant with the day and my covenant with the night, so that there will not be day and night in their season, then my covenant may also be broken with who? Dawid, my servant, so that he shall not have a son to reign on his throne, and with the Levites, the priests, my ministers. Verse 22, as the hosts of heaven cannot be numbered, nor the sand of the sea measured, so will I multiply the descendants of who? Dawid, my servant, and the Levites who minister to me. Let's go to Matthew 5. All right, Benayahu, read Matthew 5, verse 17. Oh.
Con? Matthew 5, verse 17. Do not think that I came to destroy the Torah or the prophets. I did not come to destroy, but to fulfill. For assuredly I say to you, to the Shamayim and Arets pass away, one jot or one tittle will by no means pass from the Torah until all is fulfilled.
All right. So he basically says that the Torah is not going to go away as long as earth, heaven and earth is here.
That's right.
Basically what he's saying.
Con.
He's saying till earth, heaven and earth pass away, Torah going to be here. Like not even one jot or tittle of the Torah will be done away with. Now, look at what Yahuwah said through Yirmiyahu. If you can break my covenant with the day and my covenant with the night, so that there will not be day and night in their season, then my covenant may also be broken with David. He's saying a similar thing here. He's basically saying, okay, until day and night go away, then I'll break the covenant with David. He basically saying he's not breaking, so everlasting, it's not going away, is what he's saying.
Right.
Very similar to the language Yahushua used about the Torah, even though you try to show people that they can't grasp it. This is the tabernacle of David, y'all. This is saying a lot, y'all. This is saying a whole lot. He said, As the sands of the seas are measured, so will I multiply the descendants of David, y'all. Could it be that the fulfillment of the promise to Abraham would be fulfilled through David, through the descendants of David? David and the Levites, because we know that there was a salt covenant made through, what's his name? Pinchas. Could it be that the descendants of David could that make up the bride of Hamashiach? Y'all think about this, y'all. Think about this. Think about this, y'all. This is wild to me. There's something that the scriptures kept saying about David that's very interesting. The scriptures kept saying that David was a man after Yahuwah's own heart. There's no one else in the scriptures who was called that. So a man who after Yahuwah's own heart, when you really look at it, it's like a man it's like a man that is close to the heart of Yahuwah. Like a rib.
Oh, snap.
Y'all following? See what I'm saying?
Right.
Like a rib. That's one of the reasons why Yahuwah made a covenant with David and his seed, is because he was a man after his own heart. He was like the representative of the bride.
Right.
He was a representative of the bride. He was a man after Yahuwah's own heart. That's why Eve was made from the rib. Eve was the rib of Adam. The Most High, the ribs were created to guard the heart, to protect the heart. The Most High took one of the ribs from his side and made Eve, his wife, someone who's supposed to be close to his heart, a rib. He's supposed to be, like the Isha is supposed to be after the own heart of the husband. Like literally right here. I believe there's something hidden there with David being a man after Yahuwah's own heart. And so there was an everlasting covenant made with David too. That's an extension of the Abrahamic covenant, that his seed would be as the sands of the sea. Most of us are descendants of David. Most of the people here in America are sons of David. Y'all watch Reclaiming the Throne if y'all, not familiar with that. But that's, so. Okay, I want y'all to follow this. So, the ribs are likened to the bride, right? Because the bride was made out of the ribs. The wife was made out of the rib. Putting what in? Oh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. I'll wait on you. Wait on you because I want you to get this. I want you to follow this. So the rib symbolizes the bride, the ribs. The bride of Yahusha is the nation of Israel. The rib cage, you have 12 ribs on each side, total of 24. We was talking to me and Manu was talking, and Ahmet brought this out. We were talking through this with Dawid and Simca when this revelation came out. The rib cage has 12 ribs on each side, total of 24, that is connected to the spinal column of 12. 12 spine. It's a It's called the thoracic spinal column, which connects your ribs. There's 12 of them, a total of 12 for the 12 tribes of Israel. So that is associating the ribs with your bride or with a wife. The ribs protect your vital organs. The ribs protect your heart. As an Isha, you're supposed to be close to the heart to protect the heart, not to hurt the heart. Bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. Bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. That's why anybody who's ever been married knows that can't nobody really hurt you on the level that your Isha can. Because she's been brought closest to you. She knows the insides and outs of you as far as she's the closest to your heart. So, but he's supposed to be close to the heart to guard it and protect it. That's what the ribs do. Not just your heart, but other vital organs as well. Your lungs. Your lungs are very delicate. Very. The wife is the rib to protect your life, lungs, your life, because that's where the breath of life goes into, is your lungs. That's why men who are married live longer. Because that stuff your Isha just wouldn't be cool with when you're not married and you don't have that. You moving in ways you probably wouldn't move. It's not the other way around. The lifespan of wives are pretty much the same, whether they married or not. But man, it's crazy. I think it might be like a 10-year difference. You know, it's on average. You know, we're talking about averages. But this is my point. Remember, we talked about how Aharon, the high priest, represents a bridegroom. He represents Yahusha. Aharon represented the bridegroom for the nation of Israel. So that's why we talked about this on Yom Shishi, but yesterday. That's why Aharon, Yahuwah commanded him to wear a breastplate over his lungs. He wore a breastplate. The breastplate had 12 pieces on it, just like you have 12 ribs on each side. And it said, and the scriptures specifically say that the breastplate is put on Aharon over his heart. That the breastplate is put over his heart to bear the judgment of the children of Israel. He is the bridegroom. That's the high priest represents the bridegroom of Israel. This is why I'm saying. Are y'all following this so far?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is why I'm bringing this up. There's something veiled here. When we look at Aharon, some things about Aharon, I should say that. So let's look at Aharon real quick in Shemot chapter 6. Remember, think of Aharon right now as the bridegroom. So if Aharon is the bridegroom, then the bride would represent the nation of Israel, right? If Aharon is the bridegroom, then who he marries could symbolize the nation of Israel. All right. Let's look at who Aharon married. Let's look at this. Aharon took to himself Elisheva. Dang, that means, what does that mean? Alua oath? Alua 7? My Alua. Okay, interesting there. Okay. Elisheba, daughter of Aminadab, sister of Nahshon, as wife. And she bore him Nadab, Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar. So we know that Aaron and his wife, their union is who started the lineage of the high priest, the lineage of the priesthood. Remember, according to Torah, only the sons of Aaron can be the priest Only the sons of Aaron can offer up the sacrifices to Yahuwah that he will accept. Only the sons of Aaron can go in the Holy of Holies. No one else. Only the sons of Aaron can go in the holy place. Let me get that right. Only the sons of Aaron can do anything surrounding that type of stuff. And the sons of Aaron came from two people. We just be thinking about Aaron. We forget about it. He had a wife. This came from a lineage of two people, right? What about the wife of Aaron? Daughter of Aminadab, sister of Nahshon as wife, and she bore him Nadab, Abihu, and Eleazar, and Ithamar. So let's see who Elisheba is. The way we can see who Elisheba is by looking at who Aminadab is. It also said that she's the sister of Nahshon. Let's look at who Nahshon is, okay? That is Numbers chapter 2. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe and Aharon. So Yahuwah speaking to Moshe and Aharon here. Keep that in mind. He's speaking to Aharon here. It didn't say here that Yahuwah spoken to Moshe. A lot of times it's Yahuwah speaking to Moshe. But right here in Bamidbar chapter 2, it starts off that Yahuwah is speaking to Moshe and who else? And the bridegroom, saying, every one of the children of Israel shall camp by his own standard beside the emblems of his father's house. They shall camp some distance from the tabernacle of meeting on the east side toward the rising of the sun. Those of the standard of the forces with Judah shall camp according to their armies, and the son shall be the leader of who? All right. Y'all following? We talked about this before.
That's right.
So she is the sister of Nahshon. She's the daughter of Aminadab. That's Aaron's wife. Daughter of Aminadab, sister of Nahshon. Then you go to Nahshon. He's the son of Aminadab. So that's her brother, right? And he's the leader of the children of Judah, the biggest army. This is the biggest tribe in the wilderness. He was the leader over about 75,000 people. He was a general leader of the tribe of Judah. His wife was his sister was Aharon's wife. So this is interesting. This makes most sense. Think about this. So now Yahuwah's talking to Moshe. He's talking to Moshe and Aaron here. And he's basically like, Aaron, so I want you to get your brother-in-law. I'm going to have him leading over Judah. That brings stuff a lot closer to home, huh? Yeah, get your brother-in-law, Nahshon, in there, man. Nahshon, go get him to have him a leader. He probably had to, Elisheba, go get Nahshon. Tell him he was chosen to lead the tribe. For real? My brother? All right. He a little crazy, but okay. Why am I bringing this up, y'all? Can anybody get the point I'm trying to make before I make the point? Can anybody draw the conclusion I'm trying to draw without me get going there?
I think so.
Let's see. Let's let Ema try first.
I forget his name, the other brother, Judah brother, the priest lineage, Levi. How Judah and Levi is like they always in a marry.
Okay, that's not bad. All right, bring it up, Ben Yahoo. What you got?
It was very similar to what Ema just said.
Okay.
Specifically because Aharon was the high priest, a Levite, and he married a woman from the tribe of Judah, basically. Right? Just like Dawid was from the tribe of Judah. So Dawid would be like the high priest Yahusha's bride.
There we go.
Right.
Now that's what I was going to. That's what I was getting to. So to drive it home, this is showing something hidden here. Because remember, if Aharon represents the bridegroom, then who he marries represents the bride. And so what it's showing is that veiled here is that Judah is the bride of Yahusha. Judah is the bride. Somebody, there's something that's going to happen through the lineage of Judah that's going to make up the bride of Yahusha. You feel what I'm saying? The assemblies and the assemblies that were in the Brit Hadashah who followed Yahusha, they were all from the tribe of Judah. All the apostles were from the tribe of Judah. It's the tribe of Judah that's making up the bride, I submit. This is what I'm not saying. I'm not saying that other tribes are not going to be a part of the bride. We know that the two sticks are coming together. We know all those things. But let's go there. Let's even look at that. Wait, let's go here first. Let's look at, where's the genealogy of Yahushua at? Is that Luke chapter 2? No. Maybe Luke chapter 1. I'm in the wrong, but maybe it's not in Luke. Matthew 1? It's in Matthew 1. My apologies. All right, so let's go to Matthew chapter 1. Let's take a look at something. Y'all there? Who there? Larry? Y'all there? Y'all there that fast? Mad at Yahoo. For y'all who got, some of y'all got a separate. Maybe y'all didn't know what Matthew is. Mad at Yahoo. Mad at Yahoo. Yeah, chapter 1, we'll start with verse 1. All right, everybody there? Okay, let's do it.
Matthew chapter 1, verse 1. The book of the genealogy of Yahushua HaMashiach, the son of Dawid.
The son of Israel?
The son of Dawid.
The son of Joseph?
The son of Dawid.
There's something about Dawid, y'all. Keep going.
The son of Abraham.
Oh, snap. That's it. That's the covenant. Like Ahmed just said. The son of Abraham, the son, it was Dawid who continued that promise, that covenant that was given to Abraham. It wasn't everybody in Israel. The Most High made a covenant with Dawid to continue that. Keep going. Verse 2. Now look at this, y'all. Pay attention. Verse 2.
Verse 2. Abraham begot Isaac. Isaac begot Jacob. And Jacob begot Judah and his brothers. Judah begot Perez and Zerah by Tamar. Perez begot Hezron, and Hezron begot Ram. Ram begot Aminadab.
Oh, hold on. Don't that ring a bell?
Oh, snap, yeah.
Aminadab, man, that's Aaron's wife daddy. Is in the genealogy of Yahusha. Oh, snap. Keep going.
Verse 4. Ram begot Aminadab. Aminadab begot Nahshon.
That proves, that just shows, that, so you won't be like, oh, maybe it's another Aminadab. Nope. Aminadab begot Nahshon. We know that's Aharon's brother-in-law, ain't it? All you got to do is read Torah. That's Aharon's wife's brother. Y'all, she part of the genealogy that made Yahusha.
Right.
So we're going to skip on down. We're going to skip on down to verse 6. No, actually, you could just keep reading, man. It's right there. Go ahead. Verse 4.
Verse 4. Ram begot Aminadab. Aminadab begot Nahshon. And Nahshon begot Salmon. Salmon begot Boaz by Rahab. Boaz begot Obed by Ruth. Obed begot Jesse. And Jesse begot Dawid the king. Dawid.
Wait. Hold up. Y'all see the significance of this? Nahshon, not only is Nahshon from Judah, but that's David great to the, I don't know, seventh power granddaddy. Nahshon is a direct forefather of David.
Right.
Elisheba, Aaron's wife, is Nashon's sister. So this is showing that Aaron's wife is from the seed of David. I don't know what you call it. Maybe not the seed of David, but from the family of David, ancestry of David. So that means that, I'm gonna say it first, because this trips me. This is amazing. This means that the priesthood is David and Levi. It's Judah and Levi makes up the priesthood. Ithamar, Eleazar, Nadab, and Abihu were not just descendants of Levi. They come from the ancestry of David from their mama's side. This is why, now it makes sense why you saw David do things like wear the ephod. He did things, he ate bread from the showbread, only the priest can do, nobody else did that. This is why Yahushua's came down, and he said coming as a king and a priest. Ain't nobody else did that before other than David, King David. That could only come from someone from Judah. Yeah, it was some Christians were trying to use that as a, I didn't go, I was tempted though, because I knew it, I had the information, but I was tempted to debate and I didn't do it. I was happy with myself. Because it was this Christian who was using that as a case against keeping Torah. Yahushua didn't even go, because Yahushua's a king and a priest, and that's against the law. That's against the Old Testament. You know? For real. He was serious. He thought he knew what he was talking about, boy. Yahushua is coming as a king and a priest, and according to the old law, you have to be from Levi. You can't be from the tribe of Judah to be a priest. And not knowing that the priest came from Levi and Judah. It was a mixture of Levi and Judah that made Eleazar, Ithamar, Nadab, and Abihu, and all that. It was about the sons of Aaron. That's why the scriptures always said all throughout history it was the sons of Aaron who made the priesthood. They never said the sons of Ithamar, Eleazar, no, because it was about Aaron and Elishaba's union. See what I'm saying? It was about Bait al-Haran. It was about him, and it was about that Judah and Levi combination that made the unique people that we would call the priesthood. They were a mixture of Judah and Levi. The lineage that Yahushua came through and the lineage that Moshe came through, Judah and Levi. I don't even think it was about Al-Haran. I think it was about Moshe and Yahushua. Al-Haran was a brother of Moshe, and his wife was the sister of Nashon. It's about their bloodline. Yeah. Because we know Al-Haran, he was, he had his issues, He had issues with people pleasing and some other things like that, but it was about the bloodline. It was about the bloodline. Hallelujah. And then y'all can keep reading if y'all wanted to on your own time and see that it goes down to Yahushua. Goes all the way down to Yahushua. There's other people that you'll see in there too. You'll see Solomon. You'll see some other people like Zerubbabel is in there. You'll see some people like that in there. Zerubbabel is from that lineage, which is a big deal, but we won't get into that right now. This is just another from Hosea, from the prophets. It says, "Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured or numbered. And it shall come to pass in a place where it was said to them, you are not my people. There it shall be said to them that you are sons of the living Allure." So this is going into the dominion. That's why it said sons of Allure. All right.
Rebirth of a nation. Hebrew kingdom building.